What's up guys, it's Aaronitmar, and today we're diving into more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where we take a look at Classic Mode and look into every reference and origin that we can find. Today we're going to be taking on the fighters and Echo Fighters who debuted in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate base roster. So let's buckle up, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into it. Inkling's Classic Mode is titled An Incredible Journey, and in Japanese, Dye It with Trendy Colors. Each fight in this route represents a different color, based on the ink colors that Inklings can take on both in Splatoon and in their alternate colors in Smash. The opponents all use a specific color alternate costume, and the fight takes place on stages that are a majority of the color being referenced. Each fight also plays Splatoon music rather than a song from the stage's home series. So for example, the first fight is against a green Lucario and Sheik on a largely green stage, Yoshi's Island Melee. The second fight is against Pink Greninja on Magicant, followed by a fight on Norfair against Red Wario and Duck Hunt. After that is a fight against a Cyan Yoshi on Summit. Then is a fight against a Shulk, Ness, and Mewtwo, who all use sort of pink or purple color schemes mixed with darker colors, and this fight takes place on Fountain of Dreams. Finally, we have a fight that's more or less meant to represent Splatoon as a whole rather than follow the color theme. This is a fight against the yellow and green Inkling costumes on Moray Towers. The final fight is against Marks, who's a culmination of the color theme with his rainbow wings and multicolored attacks. Additionally, the song that plays during this fight is Calamari Incantation, one of the songs that plays against the final boss in Splatoon, so this is fitting for the final boss of the Inkling Classic Mode. Daisy's Classic Mode is titled Sarasa Land Represent, and in Japanese, Princess of the Battlefield. Each fight has Daisy take on different princesses. The English title comes from Sarasa Land, which is the kingdom that Daisy is a princess of, and which was first referenced in Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. The first fight is against Zelda, the Princess of Hyrule. Then a fight against Lucina, a princess of Elise. Rosalina is up next, who isn't technically a princess at all, but it still just kind of fits the vibe. Next you fight Corrin, who's a part of Hoshiden royalty by blood, but was raised as Norian royalty by way of, kidnap? Next is a horde battle against two of each type of Mii fighter, all of whom wear either the Zelda wig, Peach or Daisy crown, or regular princess's crown. Additionally, some wear different clothing from female characters, such as Nia, Isabelle, Viridi, and one-on-one against her fellow Mario series princess, Peach, the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. And then a fight against Master and Crazy Hand. Ridley's Classic Mode is titled It Can't Be Space Pirates. This route has Ridley fight space travelers, and more specifically, those who pilot their own spacecraft. First he fights Samus, who has her own gunship, before fighting Fox and Falco, who both pilot R-Wings. Olimar is next, the pilot of the SS Dolphin. Following that is a fight against Rosalina, Mario, and Peach, which kinda bends the rule, as Rosalina is really the only one who actually pilots the Comet Observatory, while Mario just kinda tags along for the ride. And Peach here is just kind of out of place, she's just kinda there to fit the Mario theme. Next, Ridley faces off against Meta Knight, who pilots the Halberd. And then we end off on Samus again in her Zero Suit form this time, but of course she pilots the exact same ship. And the final boss is Master and Crazy Hand, who don't really pilot any ship unless you count this move as some kind of a rocket ship. Simon's Classic Mode is titled Smashvania, a clear mashup of the Super Smash Bros. And Castlevania titles. The Japanese title also makes a similar pun. In Japan, Castlevania is called Demon Castle Dracula, so in Japanese the Classic Mode is called Demon Castle Smash Bros. Each fight in this route is either based on a different monster or enemy that can be found in the Castlevania series, or it just kind of fits the vibe of a Castlevania game. Simon's first fight is against King K. Rool and Incineroar. King K. Rool is likely a reference to the Lizard Man, while Incineroar, with his color scheme, is most likely a reference to the werewolf. Next up is a fight against Giant Ridley based on the Giant Bat. This fight also has the song Out of Time playing, which furthers this connection as the original Castlevania has that song playing during the same fight. Next is a fight against Bayonetta and Dark Pit, both being dark enemies who have magical abilities, something that you would find in the Castlevania series. Then a fight against a blue Charizard and a green King Dedede. Charizard likely references the Leviathan, while King Dedede and his giant hammer are a reference to the Cyclops. The following fight is against Bowser, Ganondorf, and Mewtwo. While a reference to the character specifically would be loose at best, having a three-way fight towards the end of the run could be a parallel to the ending of Super Castlevania IV, where Simon has to take on Slagra, Gaibon, and Death before his ultimate fight against Dracula. So the Smash team probably just picked three menacing characters to be sort of mini-bosses. The penultimate fight is against Richter, which is most likely a reference to the fight against Richter that has to take place when he's brainwashed in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And of course, what else could be the final boss than a fight against Dracula himself, which is the perfect way to end off a Castlevania route. But we're not done with Castlevania just yet because Richter is the next character. His route is much more straightforward, however, being titled Smash Echoes. In this route, he takes on every Echo fighter apart from himself in their numerical or character select screen order. First, he takes on Dark Samus, followed by Daisy, and then Lucina. Chrom is next, followed by Dark Pit, and then the least Echo fighter, Ken. And just as a treat, Richter gets to take on Dracula as his final boss because, nothing else would make sense. Dark Samus' classic mode is called the Great Poison Given Form, and in Japanese, the mental pollution that bears its teeth at companions. That's a mouthful. The route has Dark Samus take on various protagonists from different gaming universes, and on Dark Samus' team is a character from those same universes who at one point were possessed or became evil, usually represented by a dark color scheme. The whole theme is meant to represent Dark Samus being evil herself, as she is a doppelganger of Samus effectively taken over by evil. The Great Poison Given Form in the title comes from the Chozo and the name that they chose to give the Metroid Prime experiments. The first fight is against Link, with evil Zelda on Dark Samus' team. Different incarnations of Zelda have been possessed, such as in Twilight Princess and Spirit Tracks. Second is a fight against Chrom and Lucina, with Robin as the ally. Robin being evil is a reference to the future Robin who was possessed by Grima in Fire Emblem Awakening and had to be fought by Chrom and Lucina. Next is a fight against Ryu with Ken as an ally. Ken was brainwashed by M. Bison's psycho power in various Street Fighter and Capcom crossover games, becoming Violent Ken, an evil version who lusts for power and has no empathy for anyone besides himself. Next is a fight against Squirtle, Charizard, and Pikachu with Ivysaur as the ally. This is really the only fight where there isn't a clear-cut reference to Ivysaur being evil in its home series. Instead, this is possibly a reference to Poison, with Ivysaur being a part Poison type. Then we have a fight against Mario, Peach, and Daisy, with Luigi as an ally. Luigi has been possessed on more than one occasion, but the most well-known is Super Paper Mario, where his mind was messed with and he became the evil Mr. L. On top of this, the color scheme chosen is his purple outfit, which is a reference to Waluigi, who is also an evil Mario series character, just to further the theme. The final battle is against Samus and Ridley, which is more or less meant to be a simple Metroid-themed fight, rather than a character being possessed. Since none of these characters are particularly allied with one another, the fight is a free-for-all. And the boss fights against Master and Crazy Hand. Alright, let's just move on. Chrom's classic mode is titled Fight as One, and in Japanese, Destiny or Bonds. The route is based on the pair-up mechanic found in Fire Emblem Awakening, which Chrom describes in the game as fighting as one, so this is of course where the title comes from. The Japanese title, Destiny or Bonds, is the same title for Chapter 23 of Fire Emblem Awakening. The first fight is against Lucina on Arena Ferox, which comes from the fight he originally has against Lucina in Chapter 4 of Fire Emblem Awakening. From this point on, the fights are 2v2s against character pairings that just make sense. Each fight also alternates between Lucina and Robin serving as Chrom's teammate, just to be a mirror to Fire Emblem Awakening. These fights are against Fox and Falco, Ness and Lucas, Donkey and Diddy Kong, Peach and Daisy, and Simon and Richter. And you already know who this team-up route is going to have as a final boss. It's Master and Crazy Hand. King K. Rool's classic mode route is titled Super Heavyweight Class, naturally meaning that he takes on the heaviest characters in all of Smash Ultimate. King K. Rool himself is the second heaviest character in Ultimate, coming in just shy of first by 2 points behind Bowser. Heavyweight in the title could also be a reference to the weight class in boxing, which also happened to be the theme of the final boss in Donkey Kong 64. The first fight is against Charizard, followed by his fellow royal reptile, Bowser. Third is another king, King Dedede, and then Ridley. Ganondorf is next, and of course the final regular fight is against Donkey Kong, his one true enemy. And again, a potential reference to the final boss in Donkey Kong 64. The boss fight of the route is against Gallium, who of all the bosses seems like he would be the heaviest, as he's one of the biggest and is mostly made of metal. Isabelle's classic mode is titled Best in Show, a reference to dog shows as Isabelle herself is a Shih Tzu. This route features nearly every female character in Smash Ultimate, meaning her classic mode is filled to the brim with opponents. The only two missing female characters are both Technicalities, Dark Samus, and the spiky-eared Pichu alt. The Japanese name of the route is titled 23 Red Flowers, which is clearly a Japanese cultural reference that wouldn't work internationally. In Japan, there's a phrase which translates to one red flower in a field of green, a figure of speech which means the only woman amongst a group of men. So Smash takes this figure of speech and adjusts it to refer to 23 red flowers in a field of green. One flower each for the number of female characters represented in Smash and in this route, including Isabelle herself. The first fight is against all 4 female villager costumes. The next fight is against Wii Fit Trainer, the female Pokemon Trainer alt, and Pikachu Libre. Hey, did you know Pikachu Libre is a girl? You can tell by its tail. Next we have a free-for-all against Palutena, Lucina, Zelda, female Corrin, and female Robin. And after that is a fight against Zero Suit Samus, Bayonetta, and Samus. But this time Isabelle has some help. Her team consists of the female Inkling and the Ice Climbers, which means yes, a stinky boy actually ended up in this route, though the alternate being used has Nana actually being the lead climber. Next is a fight against the Mario ladies, Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, Rosalina, and Wendy. And finally is a one-on-one fight against Sheik. The boss fight for this route is against Master and Crazy Hand, which I guess confirms that these hands have actually been female this whole time. That really makes you think. Ken's classic mode is titled Red Hot Rivalry. Nearly every fight has Ken take on a character who is the rival to the main character of their respective franchise, in the exact same way that Ken himself is the rival to Ryu, the main character of the Street Fighter series. First is a fight against Dark Pit, a doppelganger and true rival to Pit. Next, a fight against Wolf, the rival to Fox and Falco and Team Star Fox as a whole. Then we have a fight against Dark Samus, yet another doppelganger. After that is a fight against Dark Link, who is a mirror of Link, simply evil, though the origins of his creation are generally unknown. Then a fight against Luigi, who can be seen as Mario's rival, or at the very least, the second string to Mario in the series. Finally, Ken takes on his very own rival, Ryu, on Suzaku Castle in its Omega form to form a true analog to the Street Fighter series. And the final fight is against Master and Crazy Hand. Now ordinarily, if you reach this final fight on lower than 7.0 intensity, you will fight only Master Hand. But in this route, you instead fight only Crazy Hand, since Crazy Hand could be seen as the rival to Master Hand. So it is a hand fight still, but it's got some cleverness in there, so I'll give it a pass. And the final classic mode route is Incineroar's, titled Burning Pro Wrestling Spirit, which is naturally meant to match Incineroar's wrestler persona. Each battle in this route takes place on some form of the boxing ring stage, and they all feature characters who either use wrestling or boxing moves in their movesets. The first fight is against Bowser, whose side special grapples the opponent before flipping around and slamming on top of them. Next is a fight against Ganondorf, whose side and up specials both similarly grab the opponent in some kind of way. The next fight is against Morton and Ludwig, with Greninja, a fellow Pokemon, serving as Incineroar's teammate. The general feel of this fight resembles a tag team match in wrestling. While Morton and Ludwig may seem like odd choices, remember that their jabs feature boxing gloves, so it's a fun reference. This was also touched on at the end of Incineroar's reveal trailer, with Bowser Jr. waiting his turn to fight Incineroar with his boxing gloves ready. Next is a fight against King K. Rool, a reference to the boxing final boss fight in Donkey Kong 64. This is additionally where K. Rool's forward smash comes from, which features a boxing glove. And just like with the previous fight, this reference was also touched on in Incineroar's reveal trailer. Donkey Kong is up next, which is meant to reference the secret boss battle against Donkey Kong in the Wii version of Punch-Out! And lastly is a fight against a purple Incineroar, which is I guess meant to see which Incineroar is the better wrestler. The final fight is against Master and Crazy Hand, again a tag team match with Greninja as Incineroar's ally. This I guess makes sense because wrestling is a full physical contact sport, so having a wrestler fight a giant pair of hands isn't too far off reality. Kind of. I mean, they're gigantic. And that is going to do it for this episode. Next time we are going to tackle the Fighter Pass characters and look at all of their origins, and these ones get a lot more attention to detail because they are dropped one at a time, so I'm really looking forward to covering them. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite classic mode from this episode was, and until then, peace out, I hope you guys enjoyed, and please remember to be good to one another.